keep going no matter what.
Welcome to episode 64 of the Hand in Hand Parenting Podcast, now with over 300,000 downloads.
Woohoo! Hey, Elle.
Hey, Abigail.
So today we have a very, very special thing for our listeners. Elle and I are actually sitting right next to each other.
Face to face.
Yes, this is really weird for us, you guys, because we have never met.
In over a year of
Yeah.
making these podcasts, this is our first time.
Yes, very exciting.
It's very
Yes.
exciting. It's very exciting.
Yes.
And thanks for being here and sharing it with us.
Yes, and that's in fact what we wanted to talk about today is we wanted to talk about the power of having someone else to go through your parenting journey with you. Who
Because, oh my
might not be
gosh,
your co-parent.
you need
Yeah,
it. You need it. It's probably not your co-parent.
Yeah, it's definitely not your co-parent.
Hi, I'm Elle Kwan. I'm usually in Hong Kong, but today I'm in San Francisco. I'm your host of the Hand in Hand Parenting Podcast.
Start again, just 'cause. It's okay, it's okay. You can keep going, but
Take it off.
yeah. And
Hi, I'm Elle Kwan, and I'm usually in Hong Kong, but this week I'm in San Francisco, and I'm your host of the Hand in Hand Podcast. We are a non-profit operating globally, and we decode children's difficult behaviors, one parenting challenge at a time.
And I'm Abigail Wald, founder of realtimeparenting.com and also a certified hand-in-hand parenting instructor. And Elle and I love to get together and we love to talk about how we use the hand-in-hand parenting tools in our daily lives. And today we wanted to talk about even just this extension of doing the podcast and what that has brought to our lives, both in terms of the podcast and the greater community that you guys are part of and this community we're building together, but also the friendship that Elle and I have been able to grow even without having met each other, right? And so what is the power of having a place you can come to every week to discuss parenting, to connect with somebody and answer and, things for yourself, but also just to have questions, right?
Just to laugh
Yeah.
sometimes. Do you ever have those weeks where you feel like do you ever have those weeks when you feel like you haven't really spoken to anyone about anything?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've got this person who can just listen to you a bit, and all of a sudden it comes tumbling out, and it feels so much better to just be able to let some of that go and to laugh and cry sometimes.
Yeah.
And just have someone there for you. It makes such a big difference.
Yeah. And interestingly, here's one of the nice little perks of working for Hand in Hand Parenting is we get to have listening partnership half the time before we even start.
Even when we're talking about what we're doing with the podcast that week, it becomes a listening time.
Yeah, or we'll have even formal listening partnership time sometimes where we'll just say, hey, before we even work today, I've got to get this off, right? Or I've got to talk to you about something, or can I just have 10 minutes where you listen to me, or stuff like that. And so we'll do that for each other a lot before we even work. But then,
and the amazing power of that is that you can clear some of that backlog that you're carrying so that you can start fresh, so that you can have fresh ideas, so that you can move forward some way, even if it feels totally unrelated, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's been so fun because, even though obviously we share hand in hand in these ideas mean something different for everybody. And I think that's something important to remember is there isn't one kind of hand in hand parent, it's not like that. I think what's so beautiful about hand in hand parenting is it really invites you to figure out what's true for you about parenting. What are your values? What kind of family do you want to build? How do you want to use these tools for yourself? And so the tools are really when it comes down to it, I love the name of the book, right? Listen. It's just listen. Listen and then figure out how you want to lead from there. And so that can mean so many different things. So just because we have that background doesn't mean we parent the same way, doesn't mean we have the same values, it doesn't mean any of that. And yet,
I think you were the first person that said to me something about what are your parenting values, what are your philosophies around parenting. And maybe that isn't laid out in the book in the same way that you said it, and having someone say it in a different way resonated with me. And I think that's another useful facet of just having people around that understand the approach or understand you, care for you,
Yeah.
Who can kind of give you these questions, and they're not, directorial, really. They're just prompts that make you think, and you trust that person and you grow from it. And that's been really useful. Just those little touchstones where you begin to think and question and process how you want to do things.
Yeah, I feel like I have grown so much, like, from you this year in the podcast. Like, there's so many times.
Me, you, for sure.
But there's so many times that you say things and I'm like, oh, wow, like, I didn't think about it that way, or I love how you put that, or just, I don't know, there's so many moments. But then also just your friendship. You have been such an incredibly kind friend and so present and such an amazing person to create something with. And I think having that every week has been really special in my life. So thank you. And thank you to all of the listeners. Like, you guys write into us, and your comments on iTunes and your notes to us on Facebook, and the conversations and the things you ask us to talk about. Like, this is truly a conversation with you guys. Like, you guys should be in this room too, truly.
Yeah, we wish you were here too.
Yeah, and it's really, we really feel like this is part of a conversation we're all having together that there's no one right answer to, but it's so comforting to not feel so alone in this process.
And I think that's one of the big things, we're saying this approach isn't a one-step approach. You don't do this and then do this and then do that. You're in full control of what you do. But I really do feel like the commonality is this ability to be empathetic with each other, to listen, to take these things away and decide, is this something you want to do or not? And that be okay.
Yeah.
And that's huge as well. And thank you. I get so much from you. It's a great experience every week. I learn so much from you. But same, I learn so much from the questions that come in.
Yeah.
I learn, even when people say this happened and it was great, or this happened, or why did you speak about that didn't resonate with me? It's all learning. And I feel like this community is so good at that, sharing and responding and, having that empathy for each other in this journey. And it's so valuable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we wanted to invite you guys, like, just in the way I was going to say before, like, we didn't know if we'd get along or not. I mean, this was you guys.
This was a big experiment.
This was a big experiment. Like, you guys might not know. Like, this was a totally, like, arranged marriage. Like, we had never met, and it was like, hey, you guys are doing this together. And we didn't know what would happen, but I think that's part of it, is like what you just said, and I think that's what I was going to say, but not quite as well as you said it, is that, like, ultimately just being able to listen to each other and be a sounding board for each other, and no matter if we were going to be different or not, and and I think it turns out we're not that different really, but at all, but
pretty damn similar, except for those accents.
And so I think it's like been so exciting to be able to connect with somebody you've never met with, just because if that basic value of listening and caring is there, then it doesn't matter how similar or how different you are, right? Like we just both really want to question every week, like, what do you do about this, right? And I think that's something you guys write into us a lot about, is the idea of just being able to ask these questions and answer them honestly and wonder together. Like, we're not here with answers, we're here wondering with you. And we really value your wondering too. And we just wanted to invite you on this very special week for us, where we're actually getting to meet each other. Yay. Yeah, we're so excited, you guys. We can't even take it. But like, it's so special. And we wanted to say, hey, thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for showing up every week. We really treasure this time with you. And
I think I feel quite honored, because a lot of you say that this is your weekly inspiration or your weekly kind of fill up on hand in hand parenting. And that means so much to be able to be part of that for you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys, we wanted to ask you to tag a friend that maybe doesn't know about the podcast, because that way you guys can get together, and maybe that could also help create like a little satellite place for you, so that if you have, like Elle and I come together every week and we ask these questions, what if you had somebody in your life that you could either discuss this week's episode with, or that you could talk to every week about whatever was going on for you. So even if it wasn't yet maybe a formal listening partnership, and of course we love listening partnerships, but if
do you
there was,
do those as well?
yes,
They're amazing.
absolutely. But a place where you could discuss the weekly episode with, or anything else that you find inspiration from, because this has meant so much for us to have that time and space. And so while we love having you listen, we also want you to be able to take that a step further. And so that's our invitation to you.
I would say take your favorite episodes,
Yeah.
and if you know that someone might be touched by it, or
that's
feels that they're having trouble with something and this might help them, or they're seeking a different viewpoint, share it with them. Take your favorite one and share it with them, and then ask them what they thought. That starts it off, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because sometimes it's just the ability to have someone else know you get them, or have someone else know that you care, and we do, like, we really genuinely care about what you guys are going through, what each other's going through. Parents matter to us.
You shouldn't be a path that you're walking alone.
No.
You should have as many people as you can. I think it's a fundamental part of self-care, I guess. And there's a lot of speak about self-care and what that means. And I know for us in Hand, it often means a listening partnership, but it also does mean friendship, camaraderie, community.
Yes.
And this would be a great way to do it. So go to handinhandparenting.org/podcast. I remembered it.
Yeah.
And you will get the entire list of podcasts there. Pick one and share it and see what your friend thinks.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited. We're gonna go. I don't know what we're gonna do.
What should we do? What should we do in San Francisco? Well, you're in an hour taking a flight.
I know.
So
I flew out from LA, and Elle flew in from Hong Kong, and we're meeting here with Julie from Hand in Hand Parenting, and we are here together. So we just had some lunch. We're going to do something else for a quick moment before I hop on the flight. And
take a picture and we'll put it on.
Yes,
Facebook.
definitely.
You can see what we got up to.
All right, you guys. Thanks for sharing this week and all the many weeks with us.
And if you do have any more questions for us, please send them in. If you have any comments, let us know. We love hearing from you.
All right. See you next week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.